Thanks a lot for this opportunity. And yes, so the presentation is, I've prepared a very brief presentation, sir. So this presentation is basically about Indo-Nepal Kapilavastu Buddhist Pilgrimage Circuit. And basically, as you have just said, sir, that I'm walking the footsteps of Xuanzang. So objective of this foot journey, I mean, why I'm doing this foot journey is basically about creating awareness about the works of Xuanzang. Because presently the Buddhist pilgrimage is just limited to 8 great places. People like, people who come to Nepal, they just go to Lumbini. They don't go to, many of these people, they don't go to Tilarakutta, they don't go to Gothiawa, they don't go to Nigliawa. So like, they don't even go to Ramagrama. So similarly, it's happening in India also at all these Buddhist pilgrimage sites like Shravasti, Sankasa, Bodh Gaya. People are just going to the main shrine, but Xuanzang has given a detailed description about the subsidiary shrines surrounding the main shrine. So I'm trying to create awareness about all those places, little places around the main places. Also, the second objective is development of the walking pilgrimage trails, because now the time has come that there are many people who are interested to walk the footsteps of the Buddha, where Buddha walked. Like, if many people, as today is the Sala Purnima, so many people would love to walk from Eastern Gate, Kapilavastu, to Vaishali, or maybe I like up to Bodh Gaya. So all these walking pilgrimage trails based on Xuanzang and other literature, we have to create all these walking pilgrimage trails in coming 5 to 10 years, so that people who are interested, they can do this walking pilgrimage trails. And third important objective of this walk is to celebrate and commemorate the contributions of Xuanzang. As all of us know that, even if all of us are aware that all the Buddhist sites that we know presently is basically because of the contributions of Xuanzang. It's only his travel accounts, his books that guide us towards all these places. So this is my pilgrimage trail. This red line is the line where, this is the Xuanzang's trail. This route is taken by Xuanzang. So this is the Gangetic Plain, and basically the Buddha's sublime wandering was in the kingdoms in the Gangetic Plain. So my walk is also about connecting this ancient kingdoms. Like my walk started from ancient Kuru kingdom, and this is Panchala where Sankasa is there, and then Koshala, Kapilavastu, and then Vajji and Magadha. So basically this walk is about connecting ancient kingdoms. And so I've already walked from here. I've already completed. I could not enter Nepal, so I would be doing it separately some other time. And then from here, I started again from Valmiki Nagar, and presently I'm in Vaishali. So I hope to complete rest of the walk by say September or October. So coming to ancient Kapilavastu Empire, according to Xuanzang, what Xuanzang says. So Xuanzang came to Kapilavastu from Shravasti. So he walked from Shravasti 500 leagues southwest, and he reached Tilarakutta, that is present-day Tilarakutta, which was a royal city and capital city of ancient Kapilavastu kingdom. And from here he went to Gothiawa, that is place of Karakchanda Buddha. And from here he went to the Kanak Muni Buddha place. And then from here he went to Lumbini, touching the Arrow Spring. So this was basically Xuanzang's trail in Kapilavastu. But then, and based on Xuanzang's description, 3 Ashokan pillars were discovered. This is the Ashokan pillar of Lumbini. And you see, Xuanzang says and things are there. Xuanzang talks about 3 Ashokan pillar in close to Palace City, and all these 3 Ashokan pillars have now been discovered. So this is Lumbini's Ashokan pillar, which was discovered in 1896, I guess, by Führer. And Führer and Nepali prince, Rana. And so this is Ashokan pillar of Lumbini. But then Xuanzang talks about other many small shrines in close to Palace City. Like, he also talks about the city of Karakchanda Buddha. We have found the place where he got Nirvana, where there was an Ashokan pillar, but his city, it is still not discovered. Similarly, the place of Kanak Muni Buddha, it is still not discovered, the city of Kanak Muni Buddha. Then there are other smaller shrines, like this Arrow Spring is not being still discovered. And then Viduka killed many Shakyan people, so they were like many stupas, shrines and mentions. So this site is still not discovered, though there were some guesses about Sagarawa to be the probable site of massacre. And then the place where Buddha, the Bodhisattva Siddhartha, he took his set and he entered into deep meditation. So all those places are still not discovered, but I was going through reports which were published in last 3-4 years, and it says that Nepalese government, in collaboration with some foreign university, they are doing some extensive survey work, exploration work, and they are documenting the sites, neighborhood to Tilara Kota. And so I hope that in coming few years, we will have this complete Shwenzang trail discovered, identified, and then we can have total Shwenzang pilgrimage circuit. But the story doesn't end here, because then there was an excavation in Piprawa, because this is present day boundary of Nepal and India is very recent. In ancient times, the Kapilavastu empire was very big, not very big, but it was big enough that a large part of Kapilavastu is in Nepal and a part of it is in India also. So, this excavation took place in 1898, and they discovered from this Piprawa, they discovered many caskets, and those caskets had relics, and it mentions about that these relics belong to Shakyan people. These relics were of Buddha, their share of Buddha relics, which they enshrined here. So more excavation took place in 74-75, and it was discovered that this relic stupa, it was surrounded by many monasteries, and these monasteries, the ceilings, it read Mahakapilavastu Bhikkhu Sanghasya. So this was the site of the most important, the central monastery of Kapilavastu empire. And even when I was doing this walk, and I came from I came from this side, and I crossed many, I went to Palta Devi, and then I came walking to Piprawa, all these places. So even during my walk, I noticed many villages which were settled on ancient remains. So because Shwenzang says there were more than 1,000 monasteries in Kapilavastu kingdom, and most of them were in ruins. He says that more than 1,000 monasteries in ruins in Kapilavastu empire. So the ancient monasteries of Kapilavastu empire lies on both sides of the border. So one of those monasteries was Piprawa. So the idea is that now we should have an integrated circuit. Kapilavastu lies on both sides of border, on Nepal and in India. So we should have an integrated circuit. And since the royal people lived in Tilara Kota, and the royal monastery, the main monastery was in Piprawa. So I guess there must be sure an important path connecting these two sites, because they enshrined the Buddha body relics here. So from time to time, these royal peoples would be coming here and offering prayers. So there must be some highway connecting these two places. And the archaeological evidences also suggest that this place was a very happening place until 2nd century AD, till Kushana period. It was a very happening place. It got abandoned only at the end of Kushana period. So for 200 years, or maybe more than 300, 400 years, it was this place must be very well connected. So we should now re-establish this connection and celebrate this great legacy, Buddhist legacy, because this was the empire, this was the place where Buddha spent maximum time, his childhood and everything. So we should have an integrated pilgrimage circuit linking the sites on the both sides of the border, and best way is to connect these two places. And maybe we can have a procession every year, joint procession to celebrate this legacy. These are few ideas which comes to my mind. This is not a very difficult task. We can do this. So another important thing that comes to my mind when we talk about Kapilavastu is Eastern Gate. Every time, I had been to this place 3 or 4 times, and every time I'm at this place gives me, this place talks, it speaks. And so much of things happened here. Today morning I was I participated in a webinar with Dharma Dharani. It is a California-based Bhikkhuni organization, and I was again talking to them about this place, because it's not only Bodhisattva Siddhartha who left this palace city through this gate and went to Bodh Gaya and attained enlightenment, but Bhikkhunis also. Mahaprajapati Gautami and 500 Shakyan women, they also started from here. From Kapilavastu, from Tilara Kota. So, I was suggesting them that why can't we have a journey, a commemorative journey, a commemorative pilgrimage of bhikkhunis traveling from Tilarakota and taking ancient route, connecting all these ancient places, which I think was the ancient trade route, and ancient route which was taken by Buddha, Bodhisattva Siddhartha, and later by Mahapajapati Gautami and 500 Shakyan women. So they should think about, like, rejuvenating, like revitalizing this ancient trail. This is very historic. Not only Buddhism, the journey of Bodhisattva Siddhartha, but also Mahapajapati Gautami and Bhikkhunis, all these Bhikkhuni Sangha, their first journey was on this trail. So we should commemorate both this great extraordinary journey. Like today's Ashala Purnima, if I was given an opportunity, I would have loved to walk from Kapilavastu to all the way. I mean, I would have loved to start my walk in Kapilavastu on the night of Ashala Purnima, because that is when Bodhisattva Siddhartha started his journey at the middle of night. I would have also loved to do that, and I think many people all over the world, they would love to do this. So this is a very important pilgrimage product. I would call it product, because I mean, many people like me would love to walk. I mean, as a commemorative walk, maybe not whole 100, 200 kilometers, 300 kilometers, but maybe they would love to walk from here to Lumbini, overnight journey, 27, 30 kilometers. And then maybe, I mean, this can be developed as a very important pilgrimage to product, tourism product. So this is basically my idea, that this is what we should do. We should try to sell this two great events which took place in Kapilavastu, this Tilarakota Palace city.